consideration that you remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Please be careful when opening overhead lockers as your luggage may have moved during the flight. As a reminder, smoking is prohibited whilst disembarking and throughout the airport terminal. Mobile phones and electronic devices should not be turned on until you're inside the terminal.
This is the inside of Annie's Backpacker in Alice Springs early on a Monday morning. I'm actually about 5:30. Down here early so I can get the best seat, front seat in the bus on the tour if I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Hopefully I negotiated it out yesterday, or at least arranged it. Just early morning on our way to Uluru on the 3-day tour. A lot of noise in the back here. We're at the Camel Farm within our first hour and a half of leaving Alice Springs to Uluru. We each had a ride on a camel, which is an interesting experience. This is just a quick video of some photos that show the various uses of the camels that are made in this country. There are wild camels now because they are feral, or have become so. So it's 2 per person, 2 per camel, I mean. And
I put my water. Oh yeah, sure. Ooh, slides, go away.
now on to Uluru. I just turn it on like this, just because in another 6 months or a couple of years, I'll just sit in front of the TV and go, oh yeah, we were driving down there.
We're about to go through a desert forest. These little fluffy ones are actually seedlings.
The what kind?
The same desert oak seedlings. These ones are.
Oh, they are?
Really. This is what they grow from.
Ah, okay.
They grow into.
How strange. These look like those popular trees.
Yeah, poplars.
Yeah.
Or tall boys or something, but no, they're actually desert oaks as well.
It is novel to see what looks like a forest of trees in the desert, particularly compared to some of the other deserts we've seen in Australia. Notice that some of these trees get, the taller they get, they start to fill out a bit until they become these fully grown ones, which are fully spread out. And you'll notice that the smaller trees, they're closer together, but as they get older, one tree in an area will dominate and take all the nutrients for itself, and the others will die off. This is just a necessary allocation of the nutrient resource in the ground. It's very much analogous to some bird fledglings who will dominate the 1 or 2 chicks. One of them will dominate and the other will die off and be kicked out of the nest. Now, I'll tell my friends that the tour driver was a famous Australian rock star.
if anyone doesn't feel like they can do a pretty difficult walk in the peak, there is an alternative. However, you don't really get to see.
Heart attack hill, but it's a good stiff climb. If it weren't for my back, it'd be no sweat. It'd just be a hard climb. That makes it painfully hard. Reminds you of Utah.
It's formed in a similar way, however it was a much larger crack, so a higher volume of water was able to get through, and the wind actually started to come back up it. And I'll go through this. The main sort of rock that we have around here is sandstone, and that was obviously because it was a desert. There's two major types of sandstone. There's not a very good example of it here, so I'll show you when we get around.
This is the king fern, a Jurassic fern, maybe going back 50 million years, or to 65, or whenever the extinction of the dinosaurs was. And it's named the king fern because this is the only place it's known to exist, and that's in the King Canyon. What's the difference between a gorge and a canyon?
Like science fiction film.
Yeah, expect to see something ugly come out of it. This is called the Garden of Eden, this whole area here, which we would normally on the trek, if it were going around the whole canyon, would go down into.
With rain, everyone, we're going to have to run that way. There's flash floods through here. No, it does. But you know when it's going to flash flood.
We're not going down because the pool is so grungy because there hasn't been any rain, although he just announced that rain looks like it's coming pretty quickly. So
I've seen it here where the water's been gushing like up to the top of these rocks and stuff. It's quite spectacular. Mount Connor is a flat-top mesa. I think our geologist has just run off to the toilet. So I can tell a few fibs. No, I'll tell you the truth. Okay, so Ayers Rock actually doesn't look anything like this. It's a totally different shape altogether. This has got a perfectly flat top, making it a flat-top mesa. It also
one of the theories given by the guide for that particular piece of rock existing is that its top layer is much harder than any other part of what existed at the time, which I would agree with, but he says it also is because this was covered and thereby compressed by a glacier, and that the glacier was at its thickest at that spot, causing an even greater concentration of compaction and therefore lack of vulnerability to erosion to the degree that everything else around it was.